Welcome once more to a very quiet Sydney Harbour for the final two heats of the Australian 18-foot Skiff Championship. Good afternoon wherever you're watching around the world. I'm Peter Shipway, and along with Andrew Buckland, Jimmy Bury and the Sail Media guys, we're bringing this to you, and it is very quiet on the harbour. After the thrills and spills of yesterday's two heats, in a hard nor'easter, we're very, very docile conditions today. Two races are scheduled, heats 5 and 6. If we get a fifth race in, the drops will come into play, but at the moment it is very quiet. As I introduce Andrew Buckland. Andrew, the weather, tricky.
Yeah, that will be the summary, Pete. Just leave it there. Tricky.
Yeah.
So, synoptically, very weak gradients, and the only feature of any note on the surface pressure map is a small low pressure cell on the south coast, which will have effect in Sydney later this evening. But what it basically means is that the nor'east flow is getting shot further out to sea, and so we're in gradient wind with no thermal and land friction effect normal, and so the expected wind speeds inside the harbour might be in the order of 8 knots. And the model's in pretty good agreement, in fact, about that, and the breeze lighter as the day goes.
Well, we're back at the starting area, which again is northwest of Clark Island. Jimmy Bury, good afternoon to you, and run us through the projected course.
Yeah, Shipper, they've got the boards indicating 050 on a 1.3 mile beat, so it'll be very similar to yesterday, where we'll be going up to like Bottle and Glass sort of area up near Vaucluse. Got 6 over 2, so very hopeful that we get at least one in, so the results will start coming into play.
Well, at the moment, we're lucky to have, 3 or 4 knots here at the starting area, and looking upwind to the harbour towards Watson's Bay, a few yachts are just barely moving in this very, very light air. So let's hope we're a few minutes off schedule starting time, probably another 15 minutes. And at the moment it is super light. All skiffs, of course, on their big rigs. But let's go back and have a look where we're at with the point score and what it all means today. So we've had 4 races, 2 on Friday in lightish southeasterly conditions, sort of 10 to 12 knots. And yesterday it was a brutal day on the harbour for all the skiffs. Strong nor'easter, outgoing tide, a lot of spectator boats out, a lot of cruising boats out, a lot of yachts out, and boy, it was tough for all the skiffs. And there's some tired boys last night, but that's the point score as we see it at the moment. Finport, a new boat for Keegan York, Gus Williams and Phil Marshall, they lead with 10 points lost. 2 boats equal on second and third. Lazarus, Marcus Ashley Jones, and Smeg, Michael Coxon. Then Andu, John Winning Jr. on 16 points. Now, the news from Andu is that John Winning Jr. was unavailable yesterday due to illness, and John O'Witty stepped in and did a very, very good job. He won the 4th heat and was leading the 3rd heat on the way to the finish, but capsized and finished 7th. So his scoreline is 1, 2 7s and a 1. And then to round off the top 5, we have Yandu, John Winning Senior, on 23 points. So he's a fair way back. So you'd have to think probably the top 4, Finport, Lazarus, Smeg and Andu, will fight it out. And once they get this 5th race done and dusted, if they do, then the drop will come into play. So a lot still to work out yet, Andrew.
Yeah, Pete, and today's looking pretty unusual and pretty tricky. And just making the point, though, that the Rag and Famish Hotel, with a 1 DNF has got a pretty big drop, obviously, and they will come into contention as long as we get one race done. But in talking to the troops in the park and around and about, I guess the view is that Lazarus could be pretty good today. Marcus, known for his capabilities to get a good start and get rolling, and he's got a pretty big sail area. And on his and he's led plenty of races, full-length races in the Gilton, and given a few back in the last lap. Well, if you get one good start today, you might win a race, because it's that kind of track. It will be biased to the left edge, Pete. There'll be more wind at Bradley's Head, as there forever is. And that effect will be amplified today by the low average wind speed.
So there's the boat's just coming out of Double Bay now. There's Bigfoot with the purple chute. Closest to us, the Rag and Famish, and then Yandu with the white spinnaker. But Andrew, let me talk about yesterday, which was a really tough, brutal day. And you spoke to a lot of guys in the park after it, and I did as well. They were pretty tired and bashed up. Do you think one of the real areas of concern was Bradley's Head, of course, with the strong tide going out, the nor'easter pumping in, and all the cruising yachts and pleasure craft coming round Bradley's Head? It was a real washing machine there. Do you think there's any merit in doing what they did a few years ago and starting these races on a Saturday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to let the harbour get clear of certainly the racing yachts and maybe some of the pleasure craft? There's plenty of daylight.
Yeah.
It then gives the harbour a bit more freedom for the skiffs. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there's work underway towards that for the Giltinan, so that, I mean, the problem yesterday in part was that there was a significant number of other races as well as all the normal traffic, exacerbated by the strange wind conditions in the Bermuda Triangle, and it was just this perfect storm kind of, wasn't it? So, there was 10 Compass 28s racing for their, as a 28-foot keelboat racing for their Australian title. There was 30 Etchells, there was 60 lasers, there was, the normal average keelboat fleets, historic 18s, and Bradley's Head has just become an impossible place. And to their credit, the guys did a pretty good job, I thought. Pete?
Oh, terrific job. I mean, we saw some thrills and spills, no doubt about that, but it was a hard day, a lot of chop. And Jimmy, thoughts on a 4 o'clock start for the Giltinans for the Saturdays?
Yeah, mate, look, I'm all for it. I think it, as you said, frees up the harbour a bit. Most of the other racing is either close to finishing or has finished. Most of the charters are normally packed up and heading home by that stage because they're normally a 4-hour charter for the charter boats. So I think it's got a lot more merit than dislikes and sticking to the traditional time.
Yeah, but it's been years before. We often used to have a start at 3:30 for that exact reason, on a Saturday only.
Yeah.
And sometimes on a Sunday they've done it, but Saturday's the
key day.
The key day, yeah. So I think that's going to get a tick, and it might be 3:30 or it might be 4 o'clock, but for the Giltinan, for the 2 Saturdays, it's probably going to get done. There's my understanding anyway.
Yeah, that'd be good.
There's Smeg, who had a good day out yesterday. Third in the second race, and Michael Cox and Ricky Bridge and Tom Anderson. Boy, it's light here. We're at the starting area, just off Clark Island. It's would they get them away in this breeze, Andrew?
No, they'll get away.
Lack of breeze? Wow, there's not much of it.
If they could, they would shift the finish line up the harbour a little bit, but they probably can't.
But this could throw the cat amongst the pigeon in a race like this.
We're about to find out who's fast in light air anyway. Pete.
Well, you've got to go the right way as well. You've got to join the dots in the puffs.
Yeah. So, and folks, the tide's flood, so the tide is negating the wind speed until about, to some degree, until about 3:30. So,
About an hour of it.
Got about an hour of weak flood, and then it might help a bit, but...
Okay, well, just on screen there is SeaTech from Brisbane, and today's sponsor, the Birkenhead Marina. There's SeaTech, Josh Sloman, George Morton and Angus Barker. And the Birkenhead Marina, Kirk Mitchell, Andrew Stevens and Daniel Barnett. And we've got a bit of news out of the sponsor. Jimmy, over to you.
Yeah, so today's sponsor, Birkenhead Point Marina, has opened the doors to anyone. That you go there, fuel up, tell them that you support the Birkenhead Point Marina 18-foot skiff team, and you get 10 cents off a litre of fuel until the end of this current 18-foot skiff sailing season. So that runs until till March. So it's a pretty big kudos to the guys at Birkenhead Point Marina for throwing that deal out there for anyone. Originally, it was just for anyone from Double Bay, but Jess just rang before and said no, that offer is open to anyone. So thanks very much to the guys from Birkenhead Point Marina for putting that great offer on. We'll be heading straight there after the race to fuel up.
Fantastic. Can you get my car there? Can I get my car there?
We'll put it on the roof of the camera.
Okay, terrific. Done. Okay. Well, that's a very generous from one of the good sponsors of the 18s, Birkenhead Marina, Birkenhead Point. But we're at the starting area, and the starting officials, led by Jeremy Whitty, who've done a terrific job all year and terrific job yesterday with their course setting. They're just looking very nervous at the wind or lack of it. And what do we see up Harbour, Andrew? Is there any little bit more, perhaps?
Yeah, no, I think
just a little
over the creek. We're looking at 5-6 knots, and but on the edges, very dusty. So it's going to be a game of find the wind. It's not about angles. Just find the pressure. And it's a different sport to what we saw yesterday or the first day. So it's a new thing.
Well, I was talking to our friends in New Zealand this morning, and they've had an absolute drenching over there, biblical proportions of rain. And I spoke to the voice of the America's Cup, Peter Montgomery, this morning, and he said to say hello to you, Andrew, especially.
Yeah.
And he said, and his quote was that you sound as though some of the time that you know what you're talking about.
Well, that's as good. That's about as good as
he didn't say all the time,
no,
but some of the time. That's a good rap from him.
That's a good rap from him, mate. Happy days.
But he did say hello to us all and how much he's enjoying the coverage.
Good on him. Did great. Bloke.
And he said he's tuning in today, but not much to tune into, Pete, and all our viewers. No. It's very light. It's the breeze in the right here a little, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's gone to 060 perhaps.
Yeah, probably even a bit to the right of that.
Yeah, the course is set at 050 and all the skiffs are out. They're just drifting about. You can see the very quiet conditions. See the flags on the committee boat just laying limply. Is that a word? Limply? I suppose it is. Without much limp, I suppose.
We'll get it put in the Macquarie Dictionary.
Yep, okay.
For this year.
And there's Rag and Famish, who've had an up and down regatta. They broke their boom, damaged their boom in the first heat, then came back strongly yesterday with a first and a seventh after a capsize in the second heat. And there's Andu, John Winning Jr. back on the helm, and John O'Witty's swap boats. He's on the helm of Fisher Paykel today, standing in for Jordan Gertis, who's out with an injured back. So we wish him well and look forward to getting him back on the course shortly.
So
leading up to the Gilmans.
Looking at the wind, I mean, some of the models had this exact scenario early in the week, and they all switched to a bit more. But where the wind strength, went down to, 3 knots.
I don't think. Can they get them away in this?
No,
Andrew?
they can get away. They've got steerage and so on.
Right.
No drama, but
I'll take your word for it.
Well, whether they will though or not's another question. And so, I mean, 18-footer racing traditionally, if you've got a line in and a boat, you start the race. And I think they should stick to that philosophy, because if they put any AP up, the models all have the breeze tending to be lighter as the day goes on.
We're not far off signals here with one of the starters jumping up the back.
Okay, well, we might be underway shortly with the starting signals.
And Shipper, there's a question left on YouTube last night for Bucko about, which we can see, but the viewers at home, they're loose-footed mains. They're not. Someone wanted to know, are they loose-footed mains on those post-boom?
Yeah, completely loose-footed. And there's a couple of reasons for that.
So, post-payment flags up.
Yeah. Easy rigging, easy control, and so forth. But, people still trying to make sure there's an effective seal on the bottom of the mainsail these days. So,
yeah, it's like M-plating, right?
Yeah. So the boom's part of the sail, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, Pete, unfortunately, we've got an AP up.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any point in having an AP.
In other words, you don't think it's going to get any stronger?
No.
They've reset the course distance at 1.2. I think it was 1.3, Jimmy, wasn't it?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. So they've shortened that, but boy, there's not much wind here. So if they don't get a race away or races away, it's the point score will remain, and Finport, Keegan York, could be crowned Australian champion. At the moment, it's looking very, very quiet.
Yeah.
And there's Andu just drifting across the bow of the side of the committee vessel. Sam Newton up the bow.
Looking like a keelboat bowman. Good stuff. Yeah, so these boats need weight forward in light air, immerse the bow, get the transom wetted surface drag out and the immersed transom drag out.
There's a couple of boats trying to get downwind with the spinnaker. They can hardly fill the spinnakers.
The kitchen maker there, capsized. You find
yes.
that in this weight of breeze, it's actually, you tend to capsize a little bit more than you think.
Slow bicycle race, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Well, it's very hot and humid. Probably need a swim, but it's very sticky weather here in Sydney. It's been like that for a few days now, especially yesterday and certainly this morning. It was very hot and sweaty. And
The water temperature was like 25.2 when we got to the boat this morning.
That is amazing. 25.2. Look at that just drifting along, Smeg. Got a new head salon by the look of it, I think.
Yeah. There's all sorts of new trinkets in the park. Yeah, I think they've got to start, Pete. I think there'll be opportunity. The opportunities won't increase. So.
Well, that will make things very interesting on this point score if they do get a race underway, which at the moment it's only say it's 50-50. Breeze gone into the right, and they'd have to relay the starting line, you'd think. Breeze has gone from about 0.50 to what, about 0.70 here, I would think, something like that.
Yeah, 0.70 wouldn't be a bad stat, but that's not going to be the point. The point is, in all reality, the committee probably, to optimise the possibilities, might need to move the line up the harbour a little bit.
I just had a look before with the binoculars, Bucko. There's not a lot even up towards the sound. So
No. There's no funnel. There's nothing happening. It's just a weak gradient onshore wind with plenty of land friction and big, thick boundary layer because the water's so hot.
Well, if you've just joined us for the heats 5 and 6 of the Australian 18-foot skiff championship, there's little or no action at the moment, as you can see from our pictures. That's adrift, and we're under postponement. There's Clark Island, there's the committee boat, and the skiffs are just hanging around, waiting for some wind to materialise, but it doesn't look too hopeful right at the moment. Very hot and sticky here in Sydney. And the nor'easter of yesterday faded away, and this morning it was a little bit more than what we've got now. And but now it is next to nothing, 2 knots, 3 knots perhaps.
And Pete, just looking up though, a little bit of pressure over the low point. So there's wind in Watson's Bay and there's wind in Rose Bay, but next to the high ground, it's not so evident, is it? They've got a bit of a problem, but
Well, the flag's just starting to flutter on the committee vessel.
yeah.
It's a little bit of a sign.
all the air conditioners turned on to max speed on.
But if we look at the top of the harbour bridge, Pete, so 100 metres up in the air, the pressure's quite good, and that kind of summarises the problem. 6 or 8 knots at the top of the bridge, but down at the water level, very dusty.
Okay, well,
What we need today, Pete, is a boat with soft mainsail battens, not too much jib overlap so the jib tacks itself, right?
so you can see just idle chat while we're waiting. We spoke about the Voice of the America's Cup. Peter Montgomery just sent me a note. He said the conditions look flatter than Twiggy's chest.
Oh, there you go.
So that's not a bad comment. I hope Twiggy's not watching, but anyway. And
In Kiwi speak, they'd be saying, flat is a tick.
yeah. Dear oh dear, Bucko, eh?
Dear oh dear.
Yeah.
My word.
Wow, it's got lighter, if that's possible.
Yeah.
If that is possible. No, they can't race in this at the moment. It's just downwind. Andrew's trying to go downwind with a spinnaker off camera, and he can't get it.
There's Jono on the screen.
Jono Whitty, who really did a great job yesterday. Jumped into the helm of Andu, and there's Andu now, just filling the chute.
Just getting rolling, but... So that's...
Got a little bit of grunt there.
Yeah. So there is pressure at Bradley's Head, but hard to start the race from here. I mean, Pete, we've seen in the past where it's a bit like this, where the water's hot and the breeze lifted off. If you went probably 150 metres up towards Shark, there probably would be some wind.
Yeah, well, up near the KFC marker, there's a bit of pressure on the water there now, but
Yeah.
But just looking to the right to Shark Island, it looks pretty quiet, Jimmy, doesn't it?
yeah,
There's big holes everywhere.
they could get stuck in that mindset of chasing where the breeze is and run out of time.
So if they get a race underway, it'll really be a tricky one to, as you said earlier, someone that can join the dots perfectly could come from the clouds and upset the leaderboard.
Yeah, so Chits has just chipped in with the idea that the clouds are burning off again. They burned off 3 times today, Michael, haven't they? That's the relative humidity is so high that need a lot of sunshine to burn it off.
There's John O'Witty at the head of Fisher Paykel.
There's a little breeze here now, so the boundary layer's collapsed.
Yeah, okay, a little bit.
Now got flow at the water level.
A little bit fluttering down to us.
Who's that? Harry.
Well, there's Bigfoot from Queensland. They've had a pretty good hit out. They've had 3 tenths and an eighth, and they're lying 9th on the point score.
And the sponsor Mark's here. I've seen him hopping on the spectator ferry.
He's been very enthusiastic this week. He's down here giving the boys good support. The skiffs are lining up as though they were saying to the starter, let's get us underway, but
Everyone but Keegan.
yeah, everyone but Keegan, that's right, and the point score leader Finport, Jeremy Whitty and his team are doing a very solid job. They won't be pushed into anything that they think is not right. So there's the overhead shot for the drone. You can just see there's a few little streaks there, but not much. Manly Ferry making its way down from Manly. Not many boats on the harbour, which is a good thing if we get a race underway.
Peter, there's a lot of boats on the harbour, but they're mostly anchored having lunch.
Yes, well, not many boats on the race course.
No.
There's the Shark Island, Rose Bay, Steel Point, Point Piper just coming into view. We're on Prince Edward Yacht Club. Be nice there for a Pinot Noir or Pinot Grigio, Andrew, this afternoon.
We might be able to, if we get, AP to death, we might just go there for a bit of therapy with you.
You're allowed back in, are you?
Yeah, I'm
You'll be allowed in with those pants on. I mean, boy, oh boy.
Oh, shivers.
They are something else. Just put your leg up, Andrew, so the punters can see. There you go, look at that.
Good one, Pete.
Very nice. There's the ferry. Got plenty of patrons aboard the Royale.
Yeah, the Royale will have a problem. They will run out of catering supplies, I believe, at this present rate of progress.
A few loyal patrons out there, as they do every Sunday. A few sponsors out. I think, Jimmy, we saw a few out there.
Yeah, I believe Gary from Birkenhead Point and his guests are on board. Mark's here from Bigfoot. I've seen hopping on board. I didn't catch too many others. We were trying to find out a few other last-minute things as we were docking off.
Saw Harry Price's dad, David, there.
He's back up and running.
Yeah, he was nice and cranky in the park, so that's a good sign, I think, yesterday. So it's nice to see him up and well. Great supporter of the sport. And that's the view we're looking at, and that's the fleet, which are not moving very quickly at all. And what a terrific shot that is from our drone. The Sydney skyline, the Harbour Bridge, the Opera House, and 18-footers. Doesn't get much more Australian than that. All we need is a nor'easterly breeze would have it made. There's a little bit more here, Andrew. Probably gone from 3.5 to 4, has it, do you think?
Well, there's, so the boundary layer has to trip into turbulent for it to be usable. So the little bits where it is. And no, the guys are sailing okay. If they're going to have a race, they better get on with it, because the models have it just getting lighter as the surface water temperature goes up and the gradient weakens, if that's possible. So I might just have a look at the actuals from around the place, Pete, because...
Wedding cake, I just got sent a note, was 8 to 10, but I reckon that was probably when the ferry went past it.
And it overreads, and it'll be overreading by more today than usual, right? So,
Well, you're right, the skiffs are starting to get a bit of a wriggle on from what they had up 20 minutes ago. So we're under postponement, and we're waiting for heats 5 and 6 to get underway. And you'd have to say, if you're a betting man, you'd be lucky to get one race in today, if any. But who knows? We've got time.
we did talk about it, Pete, didn't we?
We've got time. And, that's the view that the committee boat have got, looking down the line at the fleet. Oh, it's even got lighter, Andrew.
Yeah, but so, Pete, this is local negative thermal effect, right? The water being too hot. I've got observations in now, 2:30 from Kurnell, and this is measured from the channel marker at the entrance to the bay, so it's effectively measuring the wind on the ocean. I've got 9 knots from the east.
That's at Botany Bay.
At Botany Bay. So
Okay.
that's 15 miles south of here. And the other thing we like to have a quick look at is further west of us, up the creek here, at Sydney Olympic Park, which is about 10 miles west, more or less. And they've got nearly the same amount of wind speed.
What direction?
East.
East.
Yeah, so
And what's the Western Channel pile got on Sydney Harbour?
it's got more, but it always overreads.
What's it got, though? What's it got?
Got 8 to 10.
Okay.
So, but it overreads, so take a bit off that, but, you know, let's say it's 6 or something. So there is flow. It just is having trouble getting down to the water level because of the heat.
Well, we're seeing at the moment probably more breeze than we've seen since we've come out here.
That's right.
It's just starting to build.
But as I think I mentioned, the predictions from the models almost unanimously were the breeze will be lighter after 2 o'clock.
After 2 o'clock, and
And we're well after 2
It's
o'clock.
almost 3 o'clock.
Sydney time, we're 7 minutes to 3.
.com.
That's the shot of Clark Island, looking back towards Garden Island, and the fleet just milling around, relaxing really after that really tough day yesterday.
And that would be an understatement, Pete, wouldn't
Yeah.
it, really? Oh, that doesn't look good. So, Shepherds, our favourite offshore-ish observation, Montague Island, which is, in round figures, 150 miles to the south. You've got northeast, but it's faded from 15 down towards 5. So,
Right, I don't think we're worried too much about Montague.
wouldn't you?
Well, no. There's Marcus Ashley Jones looking pretty relaxed. He was the boat of the day yesterday. They had a 4th and a 2nd, as opposed to Finport 5th and a 2. So he's been consistent, Marcus. 3 4ths and a 2nd. He's equal 2nd on points. There's Smeg. Michael Coxon, Ricky Bridge and Tom Anderson. Saw Clocko's dad, Richard Coxon, down on the ferry as well. Another avid supporter of the class, and always interesting to talk to. And that's the look back into Rushcutters Bay.
Anyway, Pete, the little low pressure cell that was forecast to be drawing up is indeed doing that, but it's the middle of it's down at Green Cape.
Green Cape now, we're going further south.
That's forecast. Close
Yeah.
enough. No, the models are, the weather models, got a handle on it.
What's it like at Tasman Light?
Yeah, that's very relevant.
That could be relevant.
I didn't go there. I did not go there.
Balmain Slate boys, they were up and down yesterday. They consistent with 10ths. They've had 3 10ths and an 8th, and they had they were well up yesterday in top 4 or 5, and I think they perished downwind, but they got it back up and finished 10th. Henry Larkins and Miles Davey and Flynn Toomey, some of the up-and-comers in this class, no doubt about that. New boat this year.
Flynn's grandfather watches us over
Right.
in England or Scotland, and ran into Flynn's father the other week, and he was telling us that he spends nearly an hour on the phone with him, telling him where he went wrong from the coverage.
Reverse charges, I hope.
So,
Something like that. No, Skype call, Pete.
Right.
Skype call.
Lazarus Youth. Hugo, Max and Nick. Oh, it's got lighter again, Andrew.
Well, it just lifts off and comes back down, lifts off, comes back down.
I doubt whether there's a lot of
So,
grey clouds gathering over to the west. So that's what's going to happen there.
bit of convection, but it probably won't be strong enough. Wind's easterly now on the top of the Harbour Bridge, so...
There's the Burrowang, Simon Nern, Grant Rollison and Brandon Byank. Don't ask Rollo how he's going. He's got some health issues that he likes sharing with you, and certainly not going to share them with our viewers here. They had a funny old day yesterday.
Well, they were up there in the
Second race.
Second race,
Yeah, they got a
yes, sir.
sixth, yep. They got a bit lost under Bradley's head, the final run to the finish. But anyway, they finished on sixth, so they're in eighth position.
He had a
Overall.
very good explanation for that, though, Peter.
And that
Please
was?
share.
Hey?
And that was?
No, I've forgotten it completely. It was that good. Wow.
This is the Collaroy on its way to Manly.
Yeah. So how long do they wait, Andrew, do you think?
They'll wait till 3:30 at a minimum,
Yep.
but I'm not optimistic now.
Okay, well, it's light, or even lighter than light here on the harbour, waiting for the fifth race of the Australian titles to get underway. And we're hanging around to wait because there's no wind.
Further rotation on the top of the Harbour Bridge, Pete, so at 100 metres or 150 metres height, she's southeast.
Bit of rain activity just west of Kurnell. I can tell you that the beer's cold at the New Sydney Football Stadium.
Yep.
Mark Walsh, top sailor, he's out there
Oh, shit.
watching the sevens because I'm sure he's just watching the 18s, or not much to watch at the moment. So enjoy your day out there, Walshy. More action than we've got on the harbour. Just see the flat spots going back towards Darling Point, Rushcutters Bay and Double Bay.
Just got a hello from Carboos at the helm of the Collaroy.
Phil Barnett. Good on you, cubby.
Going to Manly at 15 knots.
Oh, there's the Royale.
Greg's son wants to know what's the tide doing, mate. He missed it and doesn't look it up himself, so let him know.
High at 3:26 p.m, 26 hours to most people, and 1.1 metres. Low at 21:28 at 0.5. So only 0.6 of a metre of rise and fall. So weak, a bit like the gradient wind. A little bit more pressure here now, Pete.
Yeah, there's a couple of streaks. You'd hardly say it's strong. Head's still
Keegan.
down on...
Sorry, Shibbo, Keegan's old man saying just call it now.
Call it now.
The Foot. G'day, Foot. I know you're watching.
Yeah.
Okay, there's Keegan. In the box position at the moment. But who knows, they get a race underway. Things could easily turn upside down, but they've had a pretty good series.
And Pete, just thinking about the outfit, I mean, they'd be the closest to it being Corinthian, right? The blokes have all got regular jobs, more or less, except for Keegan, probably. They don't have big support. They don't have a coach. They don't have this, that, or the other. They're just blokes, skiff sailors. No time to shave, chits. It's all right. you know, skiff sailors having a red hot go. Been great to see.
Well, the boat's been quick out of the blocks, isn't it?
Well, that's what you'd hope for, Pete, these days.
Yeah.
You know, the process is well controlled, and with new sails, etc. You'd hope that everybody's done their work and it's as good as it gets.
I mean, it'd be hard to get a race away now. It'd really be a lottery. They've got to wait for some more breeze, and we're not seeing it at the moment. Lucky to have 2 knots here. Skiff's just barely moving. Once they come downwind, they'd be almost stopped still.
I think they might be in over X, but they wait another bit. But if you look up the harbour, Peter, all you're seeing is hot water evaporating, isn't it? You know, there's now mist down at the water level.
So that's the quiet committee boat. They're still under AP postponement for the 5th heat.
I mean, Dill, we could see if we can find if there's any wind at Bottle and Glass. That might help the committee because they listen. Yeah, Bottle and Glass first, mate. The Western Shore will be a waste of time.
So I'm going to send the drone up and see if we can do some spying for us of what sort of wind, if any, is up the track near the weather mark.
We need a weather station at Nilo. Or on Bottle and Glass, Pete. Can you fund that for us for the bomb, do you think?
There's a big rainstorm over north of Sydney, moving in towards Broken Bay, Avalon area. And there's one down at Port Hacking, a lot of rain, heavy rain. Looking at the radar.
Bit of severe weather, mate.
Yes, what's that going to do for us? Probably not much. Just get us wet.
Confuse things, that's all it's going to do.
There's the drone chasing the... Is that the Coleroy there, Jimmy, going towards Manly?
Chasing Phil Barnett.
To be fair, our mate Mr. Bannon did say there might be squalls, so, you know, that's what he's talking about. Enough convection localised to create, you know, one of those.
Well, that looks ugly. That looks very ugly. Is that the windward mark there, I think, Andrew? Right in the high diddle of the screen. And you can just see not much or nothing.
From Cub just sent us a message saying no wind at Bottle and Glass.
Okay, well...
It's taking the Coleroy up close to the eastern channel for us.
Right. Well spotted, Cubby. And that's the view back towards Shark Island. That's the glass out. So that's about 2 kilometres away from where we are at the starting line. Your 1.2 mile beat, and you can't get a race away in this, that's for sure. Look at that drone shot, terrific. Looking back at the harbour, if you like. Nice views, but not if you like sailboat racing. There's a bit of action on the committee boat, a few people pointing. I don't know what that means, probably not much.
Well, we're all pointing at the same thing. There's a little streak of wind just coming, Pete, but not much sustained. Interesting just looking at the recording stations around the perimeter of the metropolitan area. Quite good wind at Nora Head, Pete. Northeast, stable northeast flow there. But at Kurnell now, 5 to 7 east-southeast. And that's ocean wind strength. So what we're seeing here is the effect of, as we said, land friction on the water inside the harbour being pretty hot. Boundary layer getting too thick and the wind not getting down to the water surface. Top of the bridge, Pete, 6 knots easterly.
So all the fleet are out, the Sydney fleet, including 2 from Brisbane, the Bigfoot and SeaTech, who had their moments, and I think it's been a good hit out for those boys leading into the Giltons in a month's time. The only boat we haven't seen is Noakes, Sean Langman. He's still keeping his cards pretty close to his chest. Any idea when we might see him out, Andrew?
No. Ask me an easy question.
Right.
Yeah. So, Pete, whilst we're here, I think we can have a shout out to a good friend of ours, Lisa Richardson from Manly 16s, who's been in the grip of the medical mafia for about, since I can remember, but 14 months. Lisa, hi. I understand you're on the way to recovery, still in hospital. Look forward to seeing you back at the skiff. And hi to Craig Nichols, her partner as well. Craig, aka Fast Eddie, for good reasons. Hope it all continues to go well for you guys, and we'll look forward to a glass of Pinot at the Manly Skiff Club. Keep at it. Craig won't buy the Pinot though, that's the problem, you see.
Well,
Anyway.
there's the ferry. Where's he off to? He's steaming upwind. Does he know something we don't, Jimmy?
Mate, I
doubt
think he's
it.
just giving the punters a...
Bit of apparent breeze over their faces, so they
Yeah.
keep a bit.
Oh, he might
Cool.
take them to Bradley's Head, Pete, just to say there is wind over here. Oh, he's run out of beer? Says Chittenden? Yeah, could possibly be.
Oh dear, this is very, very quiet here again. I got nothing really. There's Marine Outlet. They broke their mast yesterday. The top section of their little rig.
Yeah.
And Max
Marcus Sampson.
Marcus Sampson. I knew it began with M. Yeah, thank you. Marcus Sampson back in the bow with Cam Gundy and Johnny Walton. They've just got a little bit of a rumble on. Not much of a rumble. Just a little bit of breeze sneaking down the side of Clark Island. Ugh.
I'll tell you what the committee's hanging out for, Jimmy. The nor'easter coming in on the change of tide.
How about the pies to get warmed up for the
pies to get
presentation?
Well, high at 325, not far away. Yeah, start of the year. Can't see much happening there.
Queensland friends, C-Tech. 12th on the point score. Just trying to get the tack done. The jib across, the battens come across.
There's not enough wind to take the battens, Pete. You can start the race.
Okay, the drone's off for a bit of a tour.
Oh, yeah, an over-extravagant roll tack in front of us here from Marine Outlet. Oh, dear.
Well,
Okay.
no damage done there. It's just
Getting
a cool
overheated.
off, I think.
So, Pete, in the event that it is in over X and there's no race, there's a count back for second, third, isn't there?
And that will go to Lazarus, I believe. Smeg would be third.
No, it's the best race first. Best race first. Equal points, no discard.
Well, they've both got seconds.
Seconds.
They've both got thirds.
Yeah.
And Mark has got a 4 plays 6.
No, but Smeg's got 2/3.
But is it on the last race or?
No, just the races in rank.
Is it okay? All
from
right. Well,
best to worst.
so the seconds get eliminated.
Yeah.
So the third come into play.
Yeah.
Okay. So Smeg would be second. Okay.
Yeah.
And the rest, there's no other ties on points.
No.
So it's only the second and
Yeah.
third would be decided by a count back.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Smeg.
But they're moving, and the committee, it might have to say, well, we'll start it, and if it glasses out on the beat, we'll
Well,
abandon
that would
it.
be the only other thing they could do is get it underway, and then if it really does develop into a lottery, which it could easily do, then they'll call it off. But you'd have to say that it's going to be very, very unlikely at this stage they're going to get
our
underway.
Force weatherman has reported 4 to 6 knots east through the heads.
Yeah, so that's what we'd expect, right? We can't hold the race there, and so the race course close to the Rose Bay might be better, but difficult to forecast. But Jimmy, you know, I mean, we've seen it where in this kind of condition that the weak wind coming down the harbour, you know, gets lifted off like this.
Yep.
We've seen it lifted off in a line across from Double Bay to Bradley's, and we've seen it lifted off usually in more westerly conditions, but at a line across at Fort Denison.
Yep.
Down towards the Opera House, yeah. So.
Well, this is disappointing if you've just joined us, hoping to see some action. The breeze has not materialised, and it's got lighter and lighter, and we're just waiting the waiting game off Clark Island to try and get race 5 underway. And a big disappointment because it was set up for a really good couple of final races to decide the champion of Australia for this season. And at the moment, it's only 50-50 whether we'll get the 5th race underway. And that would mean that there'd be no drops in play, so only 4 races would count. But we've still got time on our hands, but we haven't got breeze on our hands. That's the worry.
So, Pete, top of the bridge now, quite good. 8 knots southeast.
8 knots southeast.
Yeah, at you know, 250 metres or whatever it is.
Run back there, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's the Doug Cameron, the one of the race officers. He's taken off in his rubber duck upwind. He's probably going to have a sniff it out up there to see what breeze is in sort of the Shark Island area.
And it does look like wind at Shark.
There does look like wind at Shark, which would mean a rejigging of the course.
You know, and that's about a mile to the southeast. And if I look, I'll just...
That's where he's going. You can see the wind on the water there. Not great, but more than what we've had towards Bradley's Head. So maybe, just maybe, they might be looking at putting the course up towards Shark Island, which would mean about a 090 course, something like that.
Well, they might move the start line and then shorten it up and put the course access up to the Dardanelles there, Pete, past the Edwards, the Prince Edward Yacht Club.
Yeah, there's little puffs materialising up near Shark Island. We can see that from our position here off Clark Island.
Pete, so sorry viewers, I can't show it to you, but I'm just showing Peter the most recent update of the wind model, showing the rain band which is coming with the associated with the low pressure cell. It's pretty extensive, and that will bring wind with it, but it won't save our afternoon here, I don't think.
Just as we're watching the race sponsor today, Birkenhead Point Marina.
Who have offered it, Pete, I'll redo the offer that they've put up, which is for anyone at all. You mentioned that you support Birkenhead Point Marina, boys, right there on screen, and when you go to fuel up, and they'll give you 10 cents off a litre until March. So it's a bloody good deal. So get amongst it and get up there and say g'day to the guys at Birkenhead Point Marina.
Yeah, very, very good gesture, but the good news is that I can see some wind, Andrew, towards Shark Island. Most we've had all day since we've been out here.
Yeah, there's pressure now from the start line to Elise Nelson Park that we can see.
So it'll be a bit of rejigging here.
And that's about 1.2, 1.3 miles. 1.2, I think, yes, indeed. So there'll be information being relayed by Doug and Noddy on the race officer's rib, and they've steamed off up there at 20 knots.
If we can get a shot of the committee boat, you can see it there. We're a lot closer to it. We can see the race officer, Jeremy Whitty, on the stern. There he is in the white shirt, looking anxiously towards that area where Doug Cameron's gone, towards Shark Island. And that's the father of Jono Whitty. Jeremy, a very successful ocean racing skipper in his own right, a quite famous Qantas jet pilot, now retired. And we can see the flag starting to flutter more than they have all day. So hang on, there's going to be the board coming out here, 080, 1.2, I think.
Okay,
so a big right-hand movement.
On the headland at Nelson Park, Pete.
Yes, Andrew.
Got the chart?
No, it's be further right than that, won't it? 080.
No, that was it.
Yeah. Okay, well, there's the course. So they've now realised there's breeze in that direction.
Up towards the right-hand side of the big luxury powerboat up there.
Yes.
Under the water tower, maybe.
So they'll go in general direction from Clark Island to Shark Island.
So Jimmy's
at
just turning
1.2.
around.
Oh, nice breeze here. We've got 7 knots,
yeah.
6 knots. Beautiful.
So we will get a race in.
So I can just feel it coming through the windows on the mighty Camera Cat, the Sail Media Camera Cat. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't go away. Make sure you click the settings and click the HD and turn off the closed captions. And follow us on Sail Media, on social media, and stay up to date on what else we're up to. A few exciting things in the wind. And there's Jeremy just looking with the
Erin, Doug's daughter there.
Doug Cameron's daughter, Erin, exactly. And I think they like what they're seeing. And we've got some breeze.
Oh, they're not.
Oh, not great. You can see that orange flag
Quite nice pressure. 500 metres up the other
coming
side.
down to
of
us, yeah. But I think Jeremy's, he's a sensible fellow and knows sailing very well. You're not going to get this away if it's going to be an absolute lottery. I think he'll wait for the stabilisation of the breeze, but if he does get it away, I think he won't have any hesitation in calling it off if it really does become one of those races where it's an absolute lottery. So that's the good news for the competitors. They know they're in good hands. And look at the breeze in Double Bay. It's right round into the right.
Yep.
It's coming out of Rose Bay in a sort of southeasterly direction. The boats are all lying to the
Pete, if you look
southeast,
at the
southerly.
top of the bridge, as I said, it's southeast on the top of the bridge. That's just, the winds come back down to the water level. That's what we're observing. It's been...
Well, I know where I'd rather be sailing on. I'd be sailing in Double Bay rather than the top of the Harbour Bridge, Andrew. What about yourself?
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting the maxi boat owner that wants a boat with the top of the mast is at the height of the top of the bridge.
Well, we'll get you one of those, yeah.
Yeah, no worries, right?
But I'm just looking at the breeze coming out of Double Bay.
Yeah.
It's quite stable, probably 6 or 7 knots in this, very firmly in the southeast.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do with the starting line? They'll relay
7-0.
that.
They've changed to.
Those 7-0. Okay, we're going back a little bit more left, Jimmy. And what are you seeing, Jimmy? You're seeing breeze? There's boats starting to rumble, some yachts up harbour.
Yep. Yeah, there's a bit of breeze around, but I'm just trying to listen into Jeremy. He's chatting with Doug at the moment on the radio.
I think they will have to move the sail line, Pete.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Well, it's possible they won't, but...
Wow, gee. I know where I'd be starting.
Yeah, but you observe what's happening here. The breeze has got all the way down, as we discussed. It can often just not have enough energy to break the boundary layer between here and the bridge, and so it's just held up by the Clark Island and Bradley's Head.
Yeah, well, Clark's now become a real player in this starting line.
The next concern is there's a ship departing Circular Quays shortly, so they're umming and ahhing about potentially moving us up into Rose Bay.
Well, they would solve $2 in one go, wouldn't it? Just move the line up 300, 400 metres.
Yeah, and allows a few skiffs got good pressure now. When I say good pressure, it's probably 7 knots and more coming out of Double Bay. Andrew, look at this. Look at this.
Good stuff, right?
Look at this. We're not going to the top of the Harbour Bridge. We're going out of Double Bay. Whooshka. Best breeze we've had. Change jibs quickly. Quickly.
No. Calm down, Pete.
Okay, I'm getting excited.
You are, yeah. You know, the onset is always a little bit stronger than what persists.
Yes, I agree. There's Smeg.
Now, you see the guys now trapezing on 18-footers, which was definitely not the case 10 minutes ago, So
I think Jeremy's got to wait. Jeremy Whitty, the star's got to wait till probably the rib comes back.
No, they
Relay
just using the
line.
radio.
But they've got to change the starting line, surely.
I think they do.
They've got to get a gate down.
But they seem to be very reluctant to do that.
So hello to everyone. Again, if you've just joined us late, you haven't missed anything. You've missed a drift, but at the moment we're waiting for the 5th race of the Australian Championships to get underway. And just the breeze has just started to come in from the southeast, and we've delayed the start. We're relaying the course, and we hope to get race 5 underway shortly. It won't be in the next couple of minutes, that's for sure. They've got to rejig the starting line, rejig the course. And what do we got, Andrew? 6, 7 knots at Clark Island, the Stony area?
Yeah. Yeah, not 8, that's for sure.
No. Will the breeze remain? That's the other question, of course.
No, I think this could persist for long enough to get one race in. But, you know, things are still warming up to some degree. That's not a problem. But they're not yet planning to move the committee boat by the look of it, which I think they will have to do.
More breeze to the right of the course, but you can see that we've got good pressure, the skiffs now. There's a 12-foot skiff coming across on port tack there. He's nicely wicked up. And there's Fisher Paykel going upwind with John O'Witty on the helm today. And there's one of the Noakes team and a 12-foot skiff to leeward of him. It's Bradley's Head. Yep, good pressure.
Still, you know, pretty low range, but
yes, but
it's saleable.
From what we've had, it's certainly saleable now.
Yeah, and looking up, the guy's there with 3 strings further up, so it means it's 8, really.
Still going to be a tricky day. Which way do we go, Andrew? Left, right, up the middle?
We stay in the wind, mate.
Yeah, okay.
There's a clue.
All right, well, now I say the wind's stable. Which way do you go?
Well, you can't get near the land. You've got to stay in the middle of the funnel to some degree. A little bit of funnel here between Point Piper and Shark on the course axis, more or less.
060 looks pretty... Is that what he's got set, Jimmy, at this?
Yeah.
Did he change to 060, I think?
Yep.
It looks pretty good.
I'm still chattering away on the radio.
Okay.
It's to the right of that now, Pete.
Right of 060? Yeah. I'm just looking at that 12-foot skiff going upwind on port. Oh, no, is that Lazarus, is it? It's a bit far off there.
Lazarus on port.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, it's Bradley's Head, and the skiff's all going upwind, and take a bit of time to get back downwind, but there's enough breeze to get their chutes and come back down, not flying anywhere near as they were yesterday. And we've got still the AP postponement flag up, but there's movement at the station. That's for sure, and there's a couple of good little gusts out coming down the course now, that probably 7 or 8 knots of solid pressure.
And anchor coming up on committee vessel.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. They just need to put the line in, I think, just on the other side of the island where we are, and it'll be fine. They might even press in, but just shorten the course a bit as well. Make sure we get one done.
Oh boy, it's still hot.
Yeah, no, it's pretty
Still hot. It's not a cool breeze by any means. Those storms are to the north of Sydney at the moment, northwest. I think plenty of rain up there. We're just starting to see a few spinnakers pop out as they run back downwind. And they've got good pressure, Andrew. That's good. I like what I'm seeing here.
Yep, we'll get a race in, everybody gets their act together.
Will we get 2 in, though?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it. No.
Kitchen maker.
Yeah, they've been putting water on the committee boat's anchor chain for about 10 minutes, so that winch mustn't be that quick, Tit.
Or he's got a ton of chain down.
So behind us, the committee boat is up anchoring. And where's he going to go, Andrew?
Well,
go out into the stream a bit more, perhaps, do you think?
Just needs to, he might not need to move at all, but I'd put in the water up there where Bigfoot is, just that small amount, just to get the angle a bit better. So, as far out as he can go without getting in the channel. Somewhere near the shipping mark here, mate, would be good.
Yeah. So, Jimmy, have we got I think I can see the windward mark up there, just to the right of the water tower. Is that the mark I can see?
Equidistant between the 2 pleasure boats up there.
It's right between the eastern end of Point Piper and Shark Island. Is that it, Jimmy?
You have very good eyes.
Yeah, just to the left of that big blue powerboat. So right in the middle of the stream between Shark Island and Point Piper. So in this wind direction, this strength is going to be a good, nice beat. Tricky with this light air, and which way you go is going to be of paramount importance, but pressure more than anything will be the game to play.
Yeah. You need to get on starboard tack, I think, Pete. Let it rumble.
Get out to the left and flicker over.
Point the bow to the white light and then see what happens.
Yeah.
Kind of
The Birkin.
be a pretty good drag race. So if we get this sort of 8 knots, which is what we've got now, just nice full pressure for the big sail.
Apparently the committee boat are only talking about one race, which seems reasonable given the conditions and the lateness of the start. Well, it's almost 3:30 Sydney time on Eastern Australian summer time. A lot of heavy cloud over to the west, northwest. A lot of rain up that area. So, fingers crossed for race 5, and that will bring a drop into play, as we keep saying. And
So
just
Pete, maybe the committee, they're sailing northwest, kind of, and maybe they're going the other side of the channel. I don't know.
yeah.
That'll be the right answer, but anyway.
So while we're just hovering around and committee boat getting into position, we might just have a look at the point score. And that's the 4 races completed. As you can see quite clearly, Finport, very solid performance. First 2 seconds and a 5th, leads on 10 points, lost. Lowest points win. Then Lazarus and Smeg equal second at this stage, 14. Andu 16. He's got 2 significant drops there, 2 sevenths, so he'll get a race underway. He'll drop a 7th, assuming he doesn't finish worse than 7th. And then Yandu, the senior John winning, he's in 5th. Then Shaw and Partners with a big drop. Rag and Famish is next with a big drop. And the Burrowang Young Henrys, Balmain Slake, and then Bigfoot from Queensland round up the top 10. So the big drops will certainly play a part if we get this race underway. And that's the top 6. So there's the committee boat barrelling down over towards Athol Bight. Okay, where are we going here, Andrew?
Well, he's now in the ferry channel, so he's made a decision to go the other side.
So he's got to go the other side, and so what will that make the course, I wonder? Anyway, it'll be round to the right, that's for sure. That's Jeremy Whitty there in the white shirt, running the show. Well, the ferry knew something we didn't. He was off early. Going to visit the lions and tigers at Taronga Park Zoo.
Well, Pete, probably the wind, probably 130 or something on the top of the bridge. I'm sorry to mention the bridge again, but
No, you haven't once. Just please keep going, Andrew.
Yeah.
Visitors are very keen to know what's on the top of them. Is it blowing any of the patrons off that are walking up there?
not that fresh yet.
Not that fresh. But it is a warm wind, isn't it? We can feel it on the camera cat.
Yeah, but it's not as warm as it was, and it's just reflecting the ambient, really 24-degree water temperature.
Okay, so he's going north and to the left, so
Well, he's going to put up a number that looks like 1-3 or something.
it's still not a hurricane by any means. It's quite streaky. When we get up in here into Athol, it's even lighter. But anyway,
Well, he's just got to make sure he doesn't get in the lee of the headland.
Yes,
so
that's right.
He's got to go towards Robertson's Point, which is what he's doing now, and then lay it in the channel side of Robertson's Point, and off we'll go.
So it's a scheduled 2 lap up, 2 windwards, 2 leewards, and a scheduled 2 race day. But at the moment, you'd have to probably say we'll be lucky to get 1 race in. But you never know.
There he goes. He's coming head to win now, Pete.
Okay.
No, he's not, says Chits. Yeah, I reckon he's thought that's about right.
Well, the rib that lays the marks, you can just see him in the background with the yellow buoy, the starting buoy in the boat. So they'll wait till the Ribble side, the committee vessel gets anchored, and then we'll set the line. So it'll be interesting to see what course he's designated.
Well,
It'll be round to the right, that's for sure.
he's got the chain down, Pete. 120 something. How about that?
All right, well, and nice breeze. We've got 7 or 8 knots.
Yeah.
It was worth the wait. And the tide just starting to ebb now. It was a 1.1 metre high at...
Geez, the old timers get a big kick out of this. The new wind came at the change of tide.
Yep. Well, that's Garden Island, but well to the north of Garden Island, so we're on the northern side of the ferry channel.
Where's that pin mark? Need to put her in, boys.
We've got to get this race underway, but there's good breeze looking upwind.
Yeah, Pete, what's your confidence level about it holding in?
Well, yeah, I'm okay, 70%.
70.
And it'll be a snakes and ladders day, but it'll be join the wind odds, that's the key. But it looks pretty stable across the course. He hasn't signalled a course yet on the Ribble side. They're still looking upwind.
Still trying to measure it.
Committee boat not lying to the wind yet.
At the usual time, just an hour before sunset.
Okay, there's the pin laying boat going down towards to drop the pin in. Doug Cameron in command of that vessel. And what do we got here, Andrew? 6, 7 knots at best.
No, I think 8.
Okay, 8.
Yep. Plenty of guys with 3 strings. Good sailing breeze if they get it underway properly.
I can't hesitate now. They've got to get this underway, otherwise it could dissipate and we're left with nothing.
Yeah.
Boy, there's a bit of traffic coming around Bradley's Head just as I speak.
Yeah.
A few big, I presume you call them boats. I don't know what they are really. There.
One's
That's a boat, but
one's a small ship that's a bit trimmed bow down. I want to speak to the naval architect responsible.
okay, 090 at 1.2.
Wow, 09. Holy crap. Oh well. Got there on the bridge. More like 110 on the top of the bridge. But anyway, just what it is.
Well, there was the pre-champion favourite, Andu. He's a bit of work to do, but he's certainly within striking distance. He's got 2 significant drops, 2 wins and 2 sevenths. That's Taronga Park Zoo in the background for the non-Sydney siders, one of the great zoos of the world. And Athelbite with a lot of boats moored in there on a funny old Sunday, a lot of cloud about, very hot, so perfect for swimming. And the breeze is not getting any stronger. Got to get this underway, boys. But anyway, Jeremy's not going to be hurried. He wants to get it right.
Yeah, but getting it right means getting a race in, Pete, really. There's wind. Should have signals up already, in my view.
Well, is the pin's not... Is the pin in yet, Andrew? I can't...
They're streaming it at the moment behind us.
Was that Jimmy? Sorry.
They're streaming the line behind us at the moment. They're trying to get that down, and then we'll get underway just listening to the radio.
The postponement flag, that red and white Where's Wally flag is still flying, but and there the course flags up, the orange flags. They're course 6, 2 laps, Windward Leeward. Again, a nice long line.
Yeah. Hey?
So we've been waiting almost an hour for this race to get underway, but there was nothing else they could do. The wind was not there, but it's now in. It's still going to be a tricky race. Okay, there's movement at the station on the committee vessel. The pin is in. The fleet are here. There's wind. All we need is to get underway with the starting signals. So stand by. There's Harry Price of the Rag and Famish. John Winning in the Yandu. Had a fitting malfunction yesterday on the Yandu. The saddle that holds the rig tensioner on the starboard side pulled out. And they have fixed that overnight. So they're ready to go.
Looks like the AP will be coming down shortly here.
Okay, we're looking for action, and we've got action on the committee boat. And Jimmy, you mentioned a ship outbound. What time was that, did you say?
I thought it was 1600.
Okay, well that could play a part in the action because we're it's only half an hour away. And there's a lot of cruise ships in the harbour in Sydney at the moment, enjoying the freedom after COVID. Okay. We're anticipating that flag down very shortly. The postponement. Here we go. Okay. There's 6 minutes to go to the start of the 5th and second last heat
Possibly
of the championship,
last, Peter,
which is very strongly the last heat because of the lack of wind. We're an hour behind when we normally start, really, just almost an hour. There has been little or no wind until now.
Yeah, the Carnival Splendor is departing Circular Quay at 1600 hours.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, but departing means that they're getting the dock lines off at 1600, which means they're on our racetrack at...
It's not like rigging or unrigging the Yendies, mate. It happens pretty quick.
Does it?
Yeah.
Nothing there to muck around with the tugs in the...
Well, that's not what time the tugs turn up. They'll be probably already there, ready to... And there they are, coming around the pylon in the background, Bucko. But
Okay.
back to it.
Okay, well, let's get that at the back of our minds. And okay, 5 minutes.
Well, the Yendies takes time to unrig because we've got to stop at the halfway mark to refresh the pallet.
Race 5 of the Australian 18-foot Championships.
All good.
We've got a breeze that the course is signalled at 090, and we've got 6 to 7 knots of wind speed. So all to play for. With the drop to come into place, leading into this race, Finport is leading on points from Lazarus and Smeg and Andu. So where's the money, Andrew?
Interesting. I think you've got to get to the middle of the creek. Tide's starting to ebb. The wind generally... There'll be pressure at the white line at Bradley's, that's for sure. A little bit of compression there. So you can visit Bradley's. But you better be mindful of the fact that the tide ain't going in any longer. And you can't start anywhere but near the boat end, I don't think.
So just under 4 minutes. So you're saying start at the boat end?
Yeah, start at the boat end and get on port, mate. There's a plan.
Okay.
because still not much wind at the other end of the line.
Still not much wind anywhere. Just looking upwind, there's 5 or 6 knots. It's sort of that initial little burst came in, a little bit more, but it's, as you said, Andrew, it's settled back down now, hasn't it?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's the old
soft.
story.
A lot of cloud over to the northwest of Sydney.
Yeah,
Dark
and
clouds.
There's plenty of instability out the back, so
Yeah.
you know we could get suppression with a thunderstorm in the northwest.
Yeah.
Certainly raining to the northwest of us.
Top of the bridge, Andrew. Quick update before we start.
Or 137 knots.
Okay, good. Okay. That's handy to know.
Yeah.
And there's the starting line. That's the pin end there with Smeg just down there. Is he sniffing around down there, Coco? He's going to have a dig at that. Who knows?
Looks like the breeze has filled in the bay okay, looking at the guys upwind there a little bit. So
Yeah.
probably even wind across the line, but you can't sail for very far, I don't think, on starboard if you started down at the pin. So
Just
same problem, just a bit less.
Yeah, gee, it looks lighter upwind too. Okay, just over 2.5 to go. Andu at the committee boat end. Smeg down at the pin end. Where's our race point score leader, Finport? Where's Keegan? Can we see him? Can't see him. Jimmy, could you got him somewhere?
Middle of in that big pack. Just
Okay, there he is, middle of the pack.
Yep.
Hiding from Herman.
No, he can't take anything. Can't take it easy today. Keegan, he's got
No. He's good for it. Don't worry.
Yeah,
boys.
absolutely. He's been very, very good.
Yeah.
Exceptionally good.
So, Andu look like they're lining up for one of their JJ Gilman starts, Pete.
Late on starboard and then tack on to port.
Or duck in for the wrong side. Something not quite in the textbook.
Cheers.
No,
There's good pressure there, isn't there?
Pressure.
At the starting line.
I not see.
It looks fresher at the starting line than it does upwind, but anyway, we'll see.
That's just your old eyes, shippers. Come on.
I spotted the weather mark. You couldn't even see it. All you can see is the Harbour Bridge, and that's hard to miss.
I've got eyes in the back of my head.
Yeah, well, a lot of people have said that. Minute 30 to go. And we're getting race 5 underway.
Yeah.
And Andu in the middle of the line. Who's that down to right down the pin? That's the Balmain. Is that the Balmain Slate boys?
Balmain, yeah.
They're right down at the pin. And the rest to the middle, and Finport's down about a third of the way down the line.
Breeze bending left in the bay, in the bite of Ethel here, Pete.
Yes,
So-
okay, so the pin could... Okay, a minute to go.
So the blokes measuring the wind direction, they're going, okay, there's enough bend to the left to favour
The pin.
getting 2/3 of the way towards the pin.
Okay, well, where's Smeg? He's down there. He's half to 2/3 the way down the line. Where's Lazarus? He's normally a windward starter. Where Rag and Famish is down there. Andu's down there. Yandu's trying to get down there. Smeg's down towards that end.
Yeah, so the starter might have a problem now. Big left-hand bend here in the last 5 minutes. So
We've got 30 seconds just under.
Lazarus is here, but he hasn't quite figured out how far left the wind has gone. He needs to shoot on if he's going to get rolling.
Okay, yeah, Lazarus up at the committee boat end. It's 15 seconds to go.
So Yandu leading the pack at the other end.
Yeah, they're going to get quickly onto port, as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's big port favoured now. Pin end favoured. 3, 2, 1. Clear start again.
Yep.
Yandu first to put the bow up
Yep.
and tack.
Good start from them.
Okay, Fisher Paykel's bailed out here at the committee boat end.
And that'll give room for Lazarus to tack if they want to do
Yeah,
so.
okay, they just... Yandu had to go... Andu is going back. As Yandu got onto port quickly
Yeah.
and is...
So he's leading at the moment, Pete, if he can get rolling out of there. If there's enough pressure to get a couple of guys on the wire, he's leading. Smeg there too, and they're rocking, and they've got full trapeze noise there.
It's very quiet, only 6 or 7 knots.
Yeah.
Race 5 just underway.
So I'd say a pretty good effort from most of the blokes. Finport got left in row C.
Still very light.
Yeah.
And where's Andu? He was okay. See Andu right down the bottom, and there's Smeg just ahead of Yandu. Oh, there's not much pressure here.
They've got to get in line with Bradley before they get to full noise by the look of it.
And where's Finport? Oh, he's in the middle.
He's in the middle here.
He's okay, but
Yeah.
it's very light. Wow.
Yeah.
2 on the string only, on the strings
Yeah,
only.
so I think I'll just be 3 string in the puff, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, this is getting suppressed already, Pete, by the rain out the back.
And looking upwind, it looks very sick again. They're just waddling upwind, these boats.
Well, 2
Bit of
strings,
pressure.
2
Yeah.
strings is okay. 1 string, not so much.
Andu's got 2.5 strings, Andu.
Yeah. Just watch the guys like Smeg just getting the 3 strings as he gets out into
He's
the...
getting round the, almost getting round the bow of Yandu there.
into
Smeg,
the
Michael
channel.
Coxon.
Yep.
He's right in contention for this title. And that's Finport, hard left on the screen there. A little bit of work to do.
Yeah, he should be all right, but he's got some boats on his lead bow. Breeze stronger nearer to Bradley, so Pete, I think.
And bending left a little too. Andu starting to lift.
Yeah, a little pressure line here, but
No, that wasn't Finport. That was Marine Outlet. That's
Finport.
got a similar thing there. Finport's buried.
mid-fleet. But they've got clear air, so no drama, but they weren't great off the line, that's
It's
for sure.
Smeg that's doing probably the best job at the moment with Yandu, and then up to windwards, Bigfoot of Queensland.
Clear wind, Smeg, no problem.
Well, and Marine Outlet down to Lewin and them, he's quite quick. Lazarus is in there as well. Balmain Slake.
Lazarus started pretty neatly, a little
Yeah.
bit conservatively though.
And a bit further back, in probably about 8th or 9th place, is Finport. But it's a tricky beat. There's not much wind. Certainly gets lighter towards the windward mark. A 2-lapper.
Turning left again though, Pete.
Yeah, Bigfoot just hit the
Yeah,
brick
the
wall there. But it's
little
Smeg at
wall.
the moment. He's looking very smart, stepping away from Yandu. He's really powered up. Michael Coxon. That's Smeg, bottom of screen. Behind him is Yandu. Down to Leeward we've got Marine Outlet, and further to Leeward again is the rag. Is that the rag to Leeward?
Fisher Pike.
Fish and Pike. Okay, that's Jono Whitty.
Yep.
Okay, good effort from Jono. Oh, rag and Famish is way back. Okay. All right. Still a tricky day. Breeze looks as though it's in the left here, Andrew. Pressure's in the left anyway.
Absolutely, but they're just all about the same across the track, it seems like. So 2 strings, not quite 2.5. Big sales win big races. The Lazarus should be able to win this.
And Smeg's got
Finport's got
Good
a similar
pressure.
rig design, though, don't they?
No, they're pretty a little bit smaller, but they don't have to win the race. They've just got to be okay.
So we got on Smeg, you can see Tom Anderson and was that Ricky on the? I think it's Ricky Bridge and
Ricky
Cocko
Bridge,
on the
and Cocko, and
on
then
the
you got,
trapeze. You got Tom Anderson sitting in,
he's in the spinnaker bag.
yeah, just enjoying the ride.
And the other big rig at Marine Outlets looks pretty sizable too. Just,
Now, the other boat that's going quickly down there is Fisher Paykel.
and it's got a big sail as well, Pete. So yeah. Bit of
So we're
divergence.
about halfway up the beat, going in towards Point Piper. And that's the view. It's bending left, as you can see. Smeg's got bow up and Yandu lifting off him.
Yeah, so Breeze just gone back sort of to what it was at 11 o'clock a bit.
Well, Fisher
Or
Pike'll
12
taking a big
o'clock.
header here, bottom of screen.
So let's win now on the leeward edge, Pete.
Yes.
They're going to have to come back to the midstream, I think.
Oh, it's going to be ugly for Fisher Pike'll.
Going to be ugly for lots of people.
Yes. Where's Finport? He's waddling his way up the middle.
Yeah, he's struggling a bit. But he's
Well, there's Yandu,
he's in the
who's
same
probably
bit, of,
second.
same bit of water as Andu, so probably not too.
And there's Finport now just on screen, and Andu.
So here's a bit of pressure build right where we are on a camera boat, which is just on the left side of the fleet.
Yeah, that's nice
upwind.
pressure here. Wow.
Yep.
And now Smeg got it there, 3 stringing. Yandu, it's gone left with pressure. Well, it's probably the pressure's given it that shift to the left.
Yeah, so that's nearly northeast again.
Absolutely, so it'll almost be a one-legger back.
Yep.
Starboard pole or starboard jibe back. Oh, the boats that went right have got hammered. Absolutely hammered. So where's our windward mark, Jimmy? Can you pick that up?
Just
I've got it, yep.
off the wharf,
Yep.
sort of halfway between
Shark
Shark Island.
Point
Point
Piper.
Piper.
And Smeg would be laying that,
Easy.
and a lot of boats would be laying it.
So the committee should blow this up if they're true to their word.
Well, I think they're just desperate to get this race underway. But there's Andu, he would be third. Bigfoot from Queensland, probably fourth. But the boats to Leeward are lifting so much that they could cause some damage when they get to the weather mark if they can lift up to the mark. But Lazarus has got a bit of a wriggle on. Well, I don't think they're laying. Smeg's just starting to head. Yandu will take a bit of a header in a moment.
Well, interesting the next bit. Smeg will suffer a bit more from the little wind shadow off the island. The guys further to leeward might just roar through.
And looking up harbour towards Watson's Bay, there's nice wind there. It's right in the east-northeast.
Yeah, northeasterly though.
Yeah, okay, they're all starting to smoke now.
Smeg sprung sheets going to the mark.
These sheets, yep.
Yeah. So the
And
other
the boats
guys.
to Leeward are going to get out of jail a little bit here.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering about Finport, he's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 10th. Remembering if this race is concluded, the drops will come into play. Lazarus has moved very well. She's third or fourth. Very light between Smeg now and the windward mark. Right in the lee of Shark Island. There's some big calm spots. This is going to be tricky here.
He got through it all right. Got a little spot from the lee of the
Good breeze coming around the windward side of Shark Island now. Smeg is laying. Oh, Yandu's just hit a brick wall.
Yeah, everybody's got it.
Everyone's hit the brick wall. Smeg's through the brick wall
30 seconds.
and out the other side. Here goes Smeg.
Peace and quiet.
Smeg is around. Okay. They're through. And the winning father and son duo next. Father first, son second. And then Lazarus, he's done pretty well from where he was. We thought he was quick with this big sail. Now, Smeg's not setting just yet.
It's a gibberish back, Pete. For a while at least.
Yes, yeah.
For a while at least.
So who's good at this? They all are, I suppose.
Well, Smeg will have to set and
Yeah,
then
Lazarus fourth.
judge the...
Oh, who's this come in? Marine Outlet fifth. Bigfoot sixth. And the Noakes boys. Oh, just light here at the mark again.
Yeah, no, lift
Marine
it off.
Outlet can't get wriggling. Balmain Slate powering in above Fisher Paykel. Where's our friends in Finport? They're
Just
couple
there.
back. Yeah.
Just there.
Okay, no spinnakers yet. Noakes around now, the Balmain Slake. Fisher Paykel. It's quiet here because they're in a bit of a... Oh, not quite in the lee of Shark Island.
No, the boats are making the wind shadow now.
Yes, yeah.
Doing us traffic.
Fisher
So,
Paykel.
just looking down the
around.
fleet there, Andrew
Nine.
just first to set a shoot.
Yeah,
The other guy's two sailing back towards the headland, so...
here's Royal Oak. And then just inside him, the series leader Finport. Back in what, about 9th or 10th
Tenth,
position?
10th.
10th, is he,
Yep.
Jimmy? Thank you. Noakes Youth.
And a very tough job to do from there for them.
Oh, and Rag and Famish, he's dipped out on this beat. Sea-Tech will be next. Look how light it is. As you say, the wind really disturbed by the boats that have got round and are going back. Shaw and Partners will be next. Then the Birkenhead, Sea-Tech, or Sea-Tech then Birkenhead. And then the Rag and Famish. Well, not many behind Harry Price. So, as you'd say, a bit of work to do there.
Yep. So I think Andrew's done the right thing here. Fairly early set. Stay down away from the headland.
So a few spinnakers popping up now. Finport hasn't set yet.
No, they're trying to sail through the light air and out the other side before they set.
Marine Outlet's set, Royal Oaks set, Balmain Slake is set. That's the big foot with the purple chute. Noakes Blue with the blue chute. Bishop Michael with the black chute. Still no spinnaker on Finport. Keegan looking nervously around.
Yep.
And we're off after the leaders and still no spinnaker. Spinnaker just going up on the leader spec now. He's got to get away from that lee under Bradley's. There's Balmain Slate to leeward with the orange chute now. Here's a group of those vying for about 4th, 5th or 6th.
Yeah, I don't think Smeg will have a shoot for very long here.
White spinnaker belongs to Andu. And in front of him and to windward is Yandu. And in front of Yandu is Smeg, who race leader, led at the weather mark. He's now got a nice little buffer. Probably of about 20 seconds or more. There's Smeg. I think it's just gets them down away from Bradley's little Andrew. They'll drop and then two sail up to the mark.
What they're doing is completely rational, and they've been very careful. Sailing just above VMG run.
Just in front of Smeg, I can see flags being waved on the small boat.
So that means
I can't see what flag it is.
It's the X. Race abandoned and
so race off.
They had to. Can't have a one-leg first beat, Pete.
Well, that's an anti-climax. Breeze had gone hard left. Back into the, 040 range, 050 range. With Smeg leading, Andu and Yandu vying for second. So will we have another go at this, do you think? I suppose we will, won't we? There's enough breeze to get a race underway.
They'll try again. Maybe the scenery's better over on the starboard side here, I don't know.
Well, there's the spinnakers coming down. This is a disappointment, but expected, I guess, with the breeze change. The committee boat now going back towards Clark Island on the other side of the shipping channel.
And here's a much better spectacle, Pete, on screen now. What do you reckon that is?
Well, it's not a boat. What is it? It's a caravan,
looks like a decent party.
Do you want to drop you off? You'd get away with those pants on there, bucko.
I was going to say...
You'd merge in very well.
Yellow's the new orange.
Well, wouldn't go that far, but... Anyway, on the committee boat, lifted his anchor and going to a new starting area, we'd assume.
Back to where we started.
So, yes, Jimmy, we've abandoned this race. A bit of breathing space for the Finport, who were dead and buried. Disappointment for Smeg, who was leading the race, but...
yeah, but no surprise to anybody, so...
Do we have a time limit, Andrew?
Yeah, sunset.
Sunset Cruise.
Well, I think everyone will want to get a race in, I think. There's no doubt about that. Probably except for Finport. But I think even Keegan would want to have a bit of a contest. He's done very well so far, and he was a bit behind in that one. So we're back to the Clark Island area. Any station reports, Andrew or Jimmy? What do we got?
Well, I'll have a look when we actually get to the start line and figure out what they're trying to do. Top of the bridge, Pete, 100 to wind.
Yeah.
So, who knows what's going on in the macro sense, but, you know, it might be that, you know, the only feasible little window was at the onset of that southeast flow, and too much time mucking around with precision, purported precision about the course axis, you don't get a race at all.
Well, the other issue we've got is the ship that's, you know, leaving berth
Yeah,
now.
but it shouldn't be an issue for us, should it?
Well, not that it's coming this side of the channel with the starting area, but...
Yeah, but that was a different problem. Chits is mentioning the cancellation of the first heat of the 16s. That was caused by the course not being properly registered.
Well, if you just joined us, you haven't missed much. You've missed a start of the fifth heat, the first race today. But it was abandoned just down the first Leeward Spinnaker run after the breeze changed quite dramatically. And we're back trying to get the second start underway. First race today, and gee, it doesn't look too good looking upwind. I doubt we're going to get a race in here, Andrew, at this stage.
Well,
It's gone light again.
yeah. The wind direction, as I said, still around 100, fairly
Oh,
slow.
yeah.
That's a dip.
That's a dip and a half to windward from the Andu boys.
Little smiles there.
Is that Herman's code that we can just take it to the shore?
Probably cooling off, but I'm looking at a few of those boats coming downwind. There's a bit of breeze there, but it's... Oof. There's a yacht off Bradley's Head is well leaned in a sort of a
Pete, it's still
east or
sailable.
easter. Yeah, just.
But he shouldn't try to set the line where it started before.
That's what he's doing. There's Andu. No hurry to get up. We haven't got a starting line yet, and whether we'll get another race underway is a very debatable question. Up harbour, it's east northeast.
Yeah, and that's why he's brought the line back to this side. But you know, to the extent that the breeze starts to lift off again later on, if there is a race, it lifts off from the shore side out, not the other way around. So then the bottom marks could end up in no wind.
Yeah, this is tricky. Hearing anything from the committee vessel, Jimmy?
Negative at the moment.
Okay, well, not much to hear, I guess. It's what we can see, and there's not much. Not much wind, no starting line down. Just after 4 o'clock Sydney time.
Anyway, they got the anchor in properly, so it's a step.
Well, that's the first step of many. Course board is going down at 075 1.2. 075
1.2.
1.2.
That's an interesting vector.
So where's 075 get us? That gets us up towards the Shark Island lighthouse, does it?
Just through the land of Shark Island, almost.
There we are, 1075 there. Oh, yes.
Probably similar location
Yeah.
to where the top mark
Top
was.
mark was there at that time.
So you're going to leave the mark where it was to the right. So
Gee, there's some good storm clouds to the north and northwest.
Yeah.
Plenty of rain out there, you would think, and
Yeah.
plenty of rain forecast for tonight and tomorrow. 40 millimetres tomorrow of rain in Sydney.
Yeah, pretty solid trough. Looking at the rain on the national radar screen, very solid, wide band.
So we wait for race 5 to start again. Andrew, interesting, all starts have been clean starts. Are you putting that down to what? The instrumentation that these boats have got, or?
Yeah, I think there's a number of factors. Instrumentation be one. The guys appreciating that short course, if you're over, your race is pretty much done. Unless you're a miracle worker.
They've been very accurate, haven't they? I mean,
Yeah, no, they've been
they've
terrific.
been right on the line.
Well, they've been conservatively accurate, is the way I would
Well,
put it, yeah?
Just got comms through just saying we are waiting for commercial shipping movement leaving the quay 1600 and then we will start.
Right, well, that's a bit of a wait. Because
Jimmy, can you explain to me why we have to wait for the commercial shipping movement?
I don't know, Bucko. Just behave.
Because the courses don't have to intersect.
No, well, there's the ship there, so
it's
that's
not
what we're
moving
waiting on.
yet, so we've got a bit of a wait.
You know, we've got a marine licence for this course area.
I think they're worried boats, Bucko, if boats go hard to the left, they could go across the channel and could get affected. I'm just trying to work it out myself.
Well, there's a bunch of rules about that these days. Strikes me as just being absurd. You know, the sailors have dealt with commercial traffic since 1900. Successfully, mostly.
Not before that.
Well, my history book doesn't go that far back, mate. But then they were square riggers. They were less problematic. But if we have to wait half an hour for the commercial vessel, Pete,
Yeah.
the racing is over.
Well, Jimmy, we might bring some sad news, I guess, overnight. We heard the death of one of the great characters
Yep,
in Johnny Isles.
yep. Passed away.
Passed away.
This morning, so 9 o'clock thereabouts this morning.
I'm sure many viewers would know Islesy. As I said, a great character in skiffs and yachts. Sydney Hobart winner in 1984 on his little boat Indian Pacific, and never short of an opinion, but always good company. And
had a pretty nice wine cellar, Pete.
well, he had a go at it, but I think to all the friends of Johnny, and there were many, and relations, we do send our deepest sympathies because we've lost one of the great characters. And you know, it was always a good moment when you saw Islesy. It was always fun and games, and you never knew what to expect.
No, you could expect the unexpected as
And
a matter of
he
course.
certainly got some mileage out of his Hobart victory, but good on him. You know, he's done what many haven't done and won that race. So, as I said, we've lost one of the really great characters.
Hobart Race 84, all the way in a southeasterly gale with pretty big seas. Not dangerous seas, but just big.
Liquid Himalayas, as Peter Montgomery described them.
Oh, there you go.
He was on board Lion New Zealand with the late Peter Blake.
Yeah.
He said he's never wanted to get home more than that 84 race.
Yeah, tough old race. One I've luckily missed out on, Peter.
It was tough, all right. But anyway, farewell.
You're on the Love and War.
No. Drake's Prayer.
Oh, with Kersey, of course.
So farewell to Islesy. We
Farewell, yes.
wish you well on your final voyage, old mate.
The Drake's Prayer. And you didn't have a great race, did you?
No. Better race the next year, and then it got worse after that. But anyway, I only think about that twice a day now.
Twice a day.
I only go to counselling once a day.
That's good.
So anyway, let's get back to 18-foot racing. And
050 on the back of the start boat now, Pete.
50. All right, 1.2. Now, where's our big cruise ship, Jimmy? Was it left
No, she's still
circular
there.
quay yet?
So the mark is in the vicinity of Nelson Park.
So there's breeze now again. It's in the...
In 050.
Yeah, that's good. So we've waited an hour and a half, and finally we've got the breeze to get underway, but we've got a ship that's going to cause some grief, and we've got to wait till that big cruise ship goes out.
Well, that'll suck all the air out with it.
And it's softly again at the starting area, just to the northwest of Clark Island. I believe, Andrew, a lot of our female viewers are very envious of your pants.
There you go.
We're hearing a bit on social media channels. Just give them another look again, Andrew.
Oh, come on, Pete.
No, come on.
You know, the hamstring's not that good these days.
Well, we've got to give something to look at.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Not much sailing to look at.
No, that's correct, isn't it?
And we wait again. What do we got, Andrew? 6 knots from 050.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
I can't see that ship anywhere. I can still see its funnel. It's still in Circular Quay, I think, Jimmy.
Yep.
Oh, dear. Would that be an instruction from the harbour master that we can't get underway, Jimmy, do you think? Or is it a
Not
decision
necessarily.
by-
I think just Jeremy probably just erring on the side of caution.
Mhm.
Yeah, like we do know what to do around ships and ferries and so forth, and all ships that come and go out of the harbour have a pilot vessel lead them in or out, and obviously the skiffs can't go between that pilot vessel and the ship, and got to remain X amount either side. So it looks like there's a speedboat that you can see coming at quite some speed. Is it coming over this way? No? Okay.
My feeling is we're going to be very doubtful we get this race in. That ship hasn't moved yet. I can see its funnel above Garden Island.
Well, and the
It's
committee,
stationary.
And we're on the move again.
and the committee
We're on
boat's
the move again.
up the anchor again.
Is he going to go up to the right so he gets away from the shipping channel, perhaps? It's the only possible hope now, I think.
Yeah, if he shifted it back, Jimmy, to Double Bay,
Yeah,
we could start.
yeah, I think that's right. He'd be to the east of the shipping channel, and I'm just there it is. Okay, it hasn't moved as yet, and we're after 1600 hours, so it's going to
Must have
take
the
him.
Endies crew there helping to untie it.
Yeah.
Shipper.
Oh, we've stopped for the afternoon tea break.
So that is going to. If we are waiting for that ship, it's going to take some time, and I would think
Well,
the day could well be over.
Well, Peter, I think they're trying to move the line so they don't have to worry about
Yeah.
the ship. Well, that's what should be under
Just getting
consideration.
comms. Carnival Splendor has all lines still ashore, so
Wow.
we'll be waiting
okay.
for a while.
And so what a great load of bullshit all that is.
Don't swear, Andrew. Don't
that's
swear.
our
I agree with you, but
A joke, a travesty.
and as we wait, the breeze gets lighter. Now, as just not foreseeing anything, but as Keegan wouldn't have won an Australian title before, would he? In the
no.
18s, I don't think.
You got the list in the
Do
back
I?
of your
No,
under
Australian
Your
champions.
folder on.
Okay.
I stuck
All
all
right.
them in the back of
Well
yours
done,
and not
Jimmy.
in Bucko's, so that you got something to
Talk
pin him on.
about. Ah, okay, righto. Thank you very much, Jimmy.
I purposely didn't put one in
Don't look
Bucko's.
at. Look, I'm going to quiz you, Andrew. So you.
Short change me.
No, I don't think he has.
Yeah.
There's your flags on top of the harbour bridge, Bucko.
Yeah, come to a halt. And that's what we'd expect with a suppression from the northwest, Jimmy. So we need to go up there and get going, or otherwise we ain't racing.
Okay, trivia time, Andrew. Who
Yeah.
won the 71-72 Australian title?
Dave Porter, KB.
Wrong.
Steve 70.
Knock and Kirby, long hair, Dennis Lahaney.
Oh, that was the long hair. Travelodge. Jesus. I was having a
No,
guess.
nobody meant Travelodge. It was
I was
Knock and
having a
Kirby.
guess. No, correct way. Correct way. The long hair in a hard chine boat. Good work. Didn't win the Gildan though, did he?
No, I was watching. This breeze, this little yacht going up the course there. So no, Keegan has not won an Australian title. So I'm not putting a death wish on anyone, but at the moment, I'd say it's highly unlikely we're going to get this race underway. But stick with us, viewers.
Well, anchor chain back in.
Anchor chain back in.
Committee boat moved a
Do
good
another
solid...
trivia question, Bucko, or not?
No, not
You
really.
want, okay, right. You want out of none.
Nah.
Okay.
My brain's in trying to figure out what this wind's going to do.
I wouldn't think too hard.
Wouldn't you?
No.
It's lifted off down at the Harbour Bridge.
Oh, Jesus. That Harbour Bridge, jeez.
Do you want your bridge shot back?
No, she's right. I can see. A little bit of wind at the top again.
Now, there's Andrew. The button's in round the wrong way. Oh, he's probably head to win there, so
We'll have to go top up the parking meter.
we'll have to go and top up in fuel at Birkenhead Point Marina, Jimmy.
Yep, get our 10 cents off a litre when we mention that we support the boys on Birkenhead Point Marina 18-foot skiff.
So now we've got good pressure and no line in.
Now, Bucko, this is a good trivia question.
Yep.
Who was the last Queenslander to win the Australian title?
Looking over your shoulder, Shippo.
Norm Wright.
Very good.
He was looking straight over your
Was he?
shoulder.
You little bugger. You little bugger.
No, I would have known the answer to that, Jimmy, but I was checking. No, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's a bit like when,
Well, that was way back in
you know, who was the last New Zealand winner, you know, before the recent crop? That would
Yeah.
be the McDowell boys with, and so on, you know, but it was a long time,
Yeah.
you know, wasn't it?
Norm Wright won in 57-58, and that was his fourth Australian title
Yeah.
in Jenny 6. Then Heffo won it after him, Lenny Hefflin. Gee, there's some great names in there. Holmesy, Vic Robinson,
Yeah.
Donny Barnett, long hair, Bobby Holmes again, Rod Zamanek, Dave Porter, Steve Culmar, Ian Murray with you, of course. Big handsome Pete Brownie, Trevor Barnabas, Michael Walsh won it 2 years in a row. Phil Barnett won it. Brownie again, Nico, Chris Nicholson.
So now we've got a different problem, Pete. The wind nearly north again.
Oh. Will we get a race in? It is in the north, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh dear. Well, all you can do is look at us, I guess. We're probably better looking than the fleet at the moment, Bucko.
That wouldn't be that difficult, though, would it? It's a pretty
No.
low bar.
Well, come on, Bucko. The Three Stooges.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah. So that might be to do with the rain score, Pete, that rotation there. And
Yeah, over the north, there's a lot of... Is there rain on the radar? Have a look at the radar.
Absolutely.
Is there?
Yeah, plentiful.
I think. I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. Hello. There's a sound signal. And I think we're going to be...
In over X.
I think so. There was a hoot up.
Yeah. Drawing attention to.
We're going in the air. Dylan's up in the air.
He's optimistic.
Well, I wouldn't be too optimistic here. Breeze has all but quit. Any of it's gone hard left. And I think we're going to have a new Australian champion without a race sail today, I think. Disappointing, but quite expected. No, I take that all back. We've got 5 flags.
Where are they going to put the windward mark?
Well, little do we know, Andrew. I told you they're going to race. Where is the windward mark? What have we got? 060...
05.
050 1.2. And where's that, Jimmy? Up near...
Nielsen Park.
1.2.
Close enough.
Boy, oh boy, this is going to be a lottery and a third.
A brave effort, but the wind might stay stable. But it's
Stable?
Turn left. It's nearly. It's west of north almost here now.
Oh dear, look at the flags. They're hardly fluttering. Anyway,
But Pete, the rule says major wind change on the first leg. But have a look at the rain radar. I'm sorry, viewers, we can't show it to you, but
yes,
that is going to bend the wind.
that's a hell of a rain up Broken Bay,
Yeah.
Pipwater way. Seem to be getting the grey rims wet. Let's see, I might try and...
So viewers, that's the best we can do. We're not quite set up to do this. But big bit of rain band to the northwest, and so we might get a bill, but it'll turn left as it builds.
Yes, so that could mean a one-legger again.
Well, Pete, they can start it as long as it doesn't change on the first leg, right? That's what the rule says, isn't it?
Well, let's get back to the race. 3.5 minutes to go.
Correct way.
The fleet really drifting around. I can't impress enough how light it is here.
And very puzzled.
We'd be lucky to have 4 knots of wind.
Have to get the candles out and light them up to put in the nav lights.
Now, where's the other? Oh, the pin's right in transit with the Robertson Point Lighthouse. So come on, Andrew, give me an overview of the starting line. What do you like here? Just got to get boat speed, haven't you? Get the boat going.
Dang. Got to try and start up near the pin at full speed and tack as soon as you can.
Get onto port, yeah. I think that...
it's a bit unrealistic.
Yeah, it is really. I don't know whether we're going to get a race in, but let's be optimistic, not pessimistic.
Yeah, so Pete, looking at the wind readings inland a bit, it's northwest inland already. Terry Hill's norwesterly, so that's, a couple of miles away.
What strength?
Oh, same, 8.5.
Yeah. There's a couple of skiffs over the line. They've got to get themselves back, one of which is
Rag and Famish and I think
Andu.
we'll find, yep.
But there's enough breeze to get them back with 2 minutes just over to go.
Yep.
And I think am I seeing any movement on that ship? I don't think we are we, Jimmy? I still see the funnel behind the trees. Anyway, let's worry about the 18-footer fleet with just under 2 minutes to go. There's a ferry coming down. He's not going to come into play. Oh, boy, this is light here, Andrew.
Well, it's light, but it's reasonably steady northerly.
Northerly. Well, if it's too much north, you're going to one leg to the mark.
Yep.
First mark, quickly onto port and foot down, away you go. Ease everything. Andu and Fisher Pike, Rag and Famish trying to get back. They're just getting back with just minute 20 to go.
Andu and
this will
Rag up the other end.
This will test the fleet on the starting line after we're speaking how well behaved they've been. A lot of boats are close to this line. We've still got over a minute to go. Oh, right in the middle of the course is 1 minute to go. There's a big cruise.
And I think you'll blow this. I think you'll blow this up, Pete.
Okay, 50 seconds to go. There's a big disco boat right in the middle of the course. Okay, there's the boats all on the line. Lazarus very close to the starting line with 30 seconds to go. No, he's not over. No one's over yet. Oh, there's a few boats struggling. Lazarus has dipped back. Balmain, is that Balmain Slate right on the line? No, postpone. Could that be the death knell?
That is the death knell, I'd say, Pete.
Yes.
If I was a betting man.
Well, they've tried. They've given it a valiant effort. You've got to say that.
A for effort.
Yep, that's for sure, Jimmy. But what happens now? What happens now?
We get the ribbon out and give it to Finport, I think.
And we've got 4 knots at best, 5 here at the starting area.
Yeah, just 2 stairs.
And a lot of rain about to the north. The fleet just drifting.
I think they'll drift their way back to the clubhouse, Peter.
I think that's highly likely.
Unfortunately.
Starting boat still looking hopefully and optimistically upwind. There's a bit more breeze now, but it's gone into the left as we expected.
Oh, sort of 010. Sort
Yes, yeah. Of course, it's set at 050. Oh dear, not much hope here. It's the day is getting on. time we got? We just got almost 4:30 Sydney time, and still no real action. I think we could see a
Okay, so Doug Cameron is just going over for a bit of a chat with Jeremy Whitty.
Yeah, you can see Doug there talking to Jeremy. They're the two main players at the moment. And there's... We've been at this for almost 2 hours to try and get a race underway. Breeze back in the northeast here, Andrew. Look at these boats going upwind.
Oh.
East, probably northeast.
Yeah.
Much discussion.
There you go, the drone's poking inside to see what flags are being held.
Oh, look at this.
How good's that? I can see, I spy with my little eye.
That's very good.
The dreaded.
That's what everyone's looking at. A decision from the committee boat. They're looking at their watches. For 2 hours we've tried, so if by chance you're just joining us, you've really missed nothing. We got the race underway. We did the first leg and then it was abandoned down the second leg when the breeze changed dramatically, and then we've tried and tried again. Still nothing. And it's very light, 4 to 5 knots at most. And that's all we've seen all day. It's gone from southeast to northeast to north. So there's the point score. Will it remain the same? Finport, Smeg will jump Lazarus, Andu, Yandu and Shaw and Partners. So Keegan just may join illustrious company by winning his first Australian Championship.
Jeremy's got what appears to be the rules out, just double checking everything.
All right. Well, all he could be checking is what time we can race till, I guess.
Looking up the harbour, there's now that functioning sea mist starting to arise. Doesn't give one a great deal of optimism.
There is no optimism there, Andrew, as much as we're trying to be. So let's hope. Well, we missed out last weekend. We missed out with no race, with no win, and here we are again today in the middle of summer. Looks like another day with no racing, with lack of wind after yesterday's barnstorming nor'easter.
Well, the wind's exhausted itself, Pete. But, you know, the isobars, like, there was sort of 2 isobars in 1,000 miles, so that's part of the problem. And in reality, the only thermal wind, and so the gradient very weak, and then getting suppressed by 2 other new, the rain squall type features, and push the existing gradient getting shoved further offshore by the impending low pressure cell and trough later tonight.
Oh boy. Just a little breeze at Bradley's nor'easter, but oh, hang on, there's flags going up here. And the flags are
attached
all over Red Rover. I think they really did their very best. They couldn't have done anything more. And I think they've committee are to be congratulated. Frustrating as it's been for spectators and crews alike, I think they've deserved full marks for the way they've handled this race today. It's going to be a long trip home, even though we're right at Clark Island. It's going to be a very slow trip back to Double Bay. Not official yet, but I think almost.
Good evening again. Just to update on information, we've had delays, as you may have heard, from Cardinal Splendor. The Cardinal Splendor departing Sydney Cove. Copied. Thank you very much for that information. The breeze in the harbour is not suitable now for a Australian Championship. We're going to reschedule the races, I think.
We're just listening to the race committee, the racing.
Well, he's saying he's going to reschedule the racing.
Today or next?
Yeah, VDS Carnival, Splendor, Jack Predicate.
So that's...
We're trying to listen to what they're saying, so...
We heard the
Abandoned and going home.
But we heard the-
on one radio.
radio rescheduled.
Yeah, on
What
the
is that?
radio. Well, that I'm not sure, but
Can they reschedule? That's probably what Jeremy was looking at the rules for, Andrew.
Yeah, he must be able to.
Well, there's maybe a twist in the tail here. Maybe we'll try and make contact before we make any final decisions. If Jimmy can perhaps get in touch with the race committee and see what rescheduling can take place. Does that mean next weekend they can reschedule, Jimmy?
not sure.
We'll
What
try
I'll
and
do
find out.
is I'll ring Doug. That's it.
Okay, let's not jump to any conclusions here, but today's racing has been cancelled. The cruise ship is still in Circular Quay. You can see the red, white and blue funnel.
Tied to the wharf still.
You tie a horse, you moor a ship, Andrew. There you go. How do you know? Didn't like that?
Tied
You
horse
tie
moored.
up a horse and you moor a ship.
Do I?
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. I thought
still
been doing it wrong for a long
Yeah,
time.
you've been tying up a lot of boats wrongly or incorrectly.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we're just seeing the fleet
Option to resailing, so what's that mean?
going home with spinnakers in very light nor'easter. And at the moment, we're just talking to the race officers
Okay.
to see
Right, mate. Thank you.
what we're can learn. And Jimmy, what have we got?
Yeah, Pete. So the latest is that they haven't abandoned it. They postponed it. They're looking at options of potentially combining these races, these two races, with heats of the state titles, but they'll make further decisions ashore. And keep an eye on the International 18 Footers page, I guess, on Facebook, or hopefully they put something up on their website, and that will
So it's a bit to play out yet.
yeah,
Nothing confirmed. So
Nothing
today's racing is postponed,
postponed, not abandoned.
and we've still officially got two races left. And is next Saturday, Sunday, the state championship? Is that what we've got? Is that
I
what-
think it is.
So they're looking to see whether they can combine the Australian last two heats with next week. Wow, that would be interesting, Andrew. What do you make of all that? Andrew, are you there?
I can think of some things that our old mate Peter Kurtz would have said. I'm not allowed to use those words. Sounds like a bit of nonsense to me, but anyway.
It's the club championship next Sunday and the following Sunday.
So we're hearing that next two Sundays are
Club championship
Club
races, and they
championships,
might just call them heats of the Australian title as well. And the only people with a great deal of difficulty with all that, of course, our friends from Queensland.
Correct.
Yeah, and our Finns with Finport.
Don't forget, it's next Friday.
Right. So, okay, we've got a bit to look forward to in various shapes and forms. Next Friday is a 3-race Super Cup where all the veterans come out to play. I think commencing at 5:30, something like that. All the old-time skippers and top skippers come out to jump aboard boats and have 3 short races. So that's on Friday. And then on Sunday, which is the 5th of February. Got 2
September
heats.
already.
Yes, 2 heats of the club championship.
So 2 short course club championship races, which could be substituted
Could be.
or run in parallel,
Well,
except for our friends from Queensland. But 2 races on one day, so same format.
Sunday 13th, yeah. Well, anyway, we can't officially give you any details on the point score or the championship. It's, as Jimmy said earlier, keep watching or keep listening and look aboard the 18-foot
International 18-footers Facebook page.
Facebook page to
And
find out
Instagram.
what they're
The Finport will
proposing.
continue to be the overnight leader for several more nights.
Yes,
One way or the other.
so we might wrap it up. There's not much to wrap up because there wasn't much action, although they tried valiantly to get a race in. And we got started in one race, but here we are 2 hours later than the scheduled starting time. The fleet just basically drifting back into Double Bay. So we've only had 4 races of the Australian Championship, and we're still undecided of how that will play out, whether we'll finish with 4 races or whether they'll try and get another 1 or 2 in next weekend. So stay tuned. Whatever happens, the Sail Media team will be back next Sunday to bring this all
Friday.
to you. At Friday, we're going out again to have a look
the
at
Super Cup.
Super Cup. That starts, I think, at 5:30. Jimmy, is it?
5, I think. 5 o'clock
5
local
o'clock.
time.
Okay. So that will be live. So it'll be good to see all the old timers out racing around the track. So we've had a good weekend. Good sailing Friday. Terrific sailing yesterday, and basically no sailing today. But that's the game we play. So we're sorry we couldn't bring you more action today. But we'll be back on Friday and then back next Sunday to hopefully bring some more sailing with some action to you. So on behalf of all the Sail Media boys, work behind the scenes, terrific job again, although there wasn't much to report on. To Jimmy and Andrew, thank you for your time. And to all our viewers, we thank you for your continued support. And on behalf of the Sail Media team from quiet Sydney Harbour, Peter Shipway saying a very good afternoon, and we look forward to your company next weekend. Bye for now.